All right, let's get ready for a deep dive, into
Oh, this could be good.
yeah, into the world of toughness.
Okay.
You know that list you sent over,
Oh, yeah?
toughest celebrities of all time from the top tens? I
Yes.
have to admit, I'm a little obsessed with it.
I can see why.
It's totally subjective, being user generated and all,
Right.
but that's what makes it fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What are people even using to define tough when it comes to these larger than life figures?
I think that's part of what makes it so interesting is this is kind of a cultural barometer.
Yeah,
It's a glimpse into
yeah.
how everyday people view toughness.
Yeah, and it throws some curveballs.
Oh, for sure.
Mixing real life grit with on-screen persona.
Right.
I mean, we've got martial arts legends next to politicians, next to actors who are basically playing amplified versions of themselves. Like, it's making me rethink what toughness really means.
Well, maybe that's the perfect place to start then.
Okay.
Before we even dive into the specifics of the list,
Yeah.
how about we try to define like a working definition of toughness?
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
Is it pure physical?
Mm-hmm.
Is it mental resilience?
Right.
Or is it an attitude or like a way of carrying yourself in the world?
I think, honestly, it's all of the above and then some.
Okay.
If I had to sort of like synthesize it down, I'd say it's the ability to overcome challenges and adversity, whether it be physical, mental, emotional,
Yeah.
or staying true to yourself.
Ooh, I like that last part. Staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
That adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah,
It's not just about being strong, but also having integrity and sticking to your values.
precisely.
Okay.
It's like having a set of principles
Yeah.
and being willing to stand up for them even when it's really difficult.
Seeing how this list is going to get us into some deep waters.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's start by getting our feet wet with the top 10.
Let's do it.
All right, kicking it off, the one and only Bruce Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And the quote they included is so perfect. I do not hit, it hits all by itself.
How can you not just be in awe of that level of mastery?
Yeah.
It's just,
Right.
it's like there's a Zen-like quality to it. That speaks to a level of skill where action is effortless.
Yeah.
It's an extension of will rather than brute force.
Right.
And it reminds me of,
Yeah.
the philosophy behind martial arts. It's not just about fighting.
Right.
It's about, cultivating discipline and self-control.
And that self-control, that inner strength, I think that's a key ingredient.
Totally.
Which brings us to Chuck Norris,
Another icon.
another martial arts icon who embodies that mind-body connection.
Absolutely. And with Chuck Norris, you see that toughness going beyond the physical,
Yeah.
successful entrepreneur philanthropist. He founded his own martial arts discipline,
Oh, right.
Chen Kikbini.
Yeah.
That speaks to a different kind of drive,
Right.
a willingness to build and create. I think that's another facet of toughness.
Building an empire takes grit, that's for sure.
Right.
And speaking of empires, we've got Clint Eastwood,
Oh, yes.
a figure who's like synonymous with a specific brand of toughness,
Right.
from that stoic man with no name to the hardened characters he plays later.
Mm-hmm.
There's an evolution there that's worth exploring.
What's interesting about Clint Eastwood is that he really taps into that, like, archetype of the lone wolf.
Yeah.
That rugged individualist that operates outside the rules.
Totally.
It's such a, like, romanticized image of toughness.
Yeah.
That's so deeply rooted in American culture.
It's like the strong, silent type, taken to the extreme.
Totally.
And there's power in that.
Yeah.
A sense of mystery.
Right.
That can be alluring and intimidating.
Exactly. And it plays with this idea
Yeah.
that true strength lies in restraint,
Mm-hmm.
in carefully choosing your battles.
Right.
It's a subtle power, but it's a very potent one.
All right, so we've got the martial arts masters, we've got the lone wolf archetype.
Right.
Now let's throw a cowboy in the mix, John Wayne.
Oh, yes.
The quintessential American hero.
Yeah.
Rugged charm and grit.
It's a different flavor of toughness.
Yeah, but just as iconic.
John Wayne embodies that more traditional masculinity
Mm-hmm.
associated with, like, the American frontier.
Right.
Self-reliance, courage, and a strong moral compass.
It's the classic good guy image.
Yeah.
Standing up for what's right,
Mm-hmm.
protecting the innocent.
Right.
But even within that archetype,
Yeah.
I think there's room for nuance because toughness isn't always black and white.
You're right. And I think that's what makes this list so compelling.
Yeah.
Is that it forces us to question our assumptions
Mm-hmm.
and really look beyond the surface.
Right.
Because toughness can manifest in unexpected ways.
Which brings us to Jackie Chan,
Oh, yes.
a guy who I think redefines toughness through sheer physicality
Mm-hmm.
with a comedic twist.
Yeah.
Incredible stunts, acrobatic fighting style. It's like he's defying gravity and laughing in the face of danger.
What Jackie Chan brings to the table is that infectious joy
Yeah.
and playfulness,
Right.
even in dangerous situations.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that toughness doesn't have to be serious and brooding.
Right.
It could be lighthearted and silly.
It's like he found a way to turn toughness into an art form.
Totally.
Speaking of art imitating life, Brandon Lee,
Oh,
a
yes.
preacher whose story I think is inspiring and tragic.
Absolutely.
Following in his father's footsteps, he embodies that martial arts prowess and on-screen charisma.
Yeah.
But his untimely death during filming adds a whole other layer of complexity.
Right. And I think it raises some difficult questions about the risks inherent
Yeah.
in certain professions
Right.
and that fine line between bravery and recklessness.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds us that toughness can sometimes come at a cost,
Right.
and that sometimes the greatest acts of courage is knowing your limits.
It's a sobering reminder that toughness doesn't make you invincible,
Yeah.
and it makes you think about legacy.
hmm
How our actions can inspire and influence others even after we're gone.
That's a profound observation.
Right.
It really speaks to that enduring power
Yeah.
of those who embody toughness and how those stories continue to resonate long after they're gone.
And speaking of enduring power, how can we talk about toughness without Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, come on.
From bodybuilding champion to action star to politician,
Right.
the guy is the definition of reinvention and resilience.
Arnold's trajectory is a testament to self-belief and willpower,
Mm-hmm.
constantly pushing boundaries, defining expectations,
Right.
proving that toughness can take you to the highest heights no matter where you start.
And it's not just about achieving success, it's about bouncing back from the setbacks.
Uh-huh.
He's had his controversies and career dips,
Right.
but he always comes back stronger and more determined.
Absolutely.
That's toughness in action.
It's about that grit to get back up when you've been knocked down
Yeah.
and keep striving for those goals, even when the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah. So we've seen how toughness can manifest in physical prowess,
Mhm.
mental discipline, and the courage to defy expectations.
Right.
But what about the kind of toughness that comes from being unapologetically yourself?
Yeah.
That's what I see in Michelle Rodriguez.
Interesting.
She brings this fierce, take-no-prisoners attitude,
Mhm.
and it resonates with audiences precisely because it feels authentic.
Michelle Rodriguez really challenges traditional notions of femininity,
Right.
portraying characters who are strong,
Mm-hmm.
independent, and refuse to be pigeonholed.
Yeah.
She embodies this very modern form of toughness,
Yeah.
about breaking down stereotypes and owning your space in the world.
And that can be a powerful form of resistance.
For sure.
Especially in industries that often try to put people in boxes.
Right.
She's like, nope, I'm going to do things my way and I'm going to be successful on my own terms.
Yeah. And that defiance, that refusal to conform,
Mm-hmm.
that's a key ingredient in toughness, wouldn't you say?
It's about having the courage to be different,
Yeah.
to stand out from the crowd,
Right.
pave your own path.
Mhm.
Which brings us to a figure who for many epitomized a very specific kind of toughness, Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
But they highlight his fall from grace.
Right.
Due to some serious controversies, which raises questions.
hmm
If succulentness is tied to reputation, can that reputation be tarnished?
Interesting.
What happens when the image we project doesn't match our actions?
Hulk Hogan's story really forces us to confront those ethical dimensions of toughness.
Yeah.
It asks us to consider whether true strength lies in, maintaining a flawless facade
Right.
or in acknowledging your flaws,
Mm-hmm.
taking responsibility for your actions,
Right.
and striving for redemption.
It's like, can you still be considered tough if your values crumble under pressure?
Yeah.
Or does true toughness lie in rebuilding yourself,
hmm
learning from your mistakes and becoming a better person?
Those are questions I think we all have to grapple with,
Right.
not just celebrities.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
Right.
We all face those challenges that test our character.
Mm-hmm.
It's how we respond
Right.
to those challenges
Okay.
that really defines our toughness.
Big stuff.
Yeah,
Rounding out the top 10, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, Rambo.
right?
These are characters that embody grit,
For sure.
determination,
Yeah,
and that classic underdog story. But Stallone himself has had a long, sometimes tumultuous career.
hmm
That longevity speaks to a kind of toughness, wouldn't you say?
Stallone's career is a testament to perseverance.
Yeah.
He's faced rejection setbacks,
Right.
critical scrutiny,
Mm-hmm.
but he never gave up on his vision.
Yeah.
That unwavering commitment,
Right.
that refusal to be deterred,
Mm.
that's a form of toughness that I think resonates with audiences.
Like he's living proof that you don't have to be born tough. You can cultivate that grit
Yeah.
through willpower.
Mm-hmm.
And he reminds us that success isn't always linear. It's about getting back up after every fall.
Yeah.
And continuing to push forward, even when it gets tough.
That's such a powerful message.
Yeah.
That applies not just to aspiring actors,
Right.
but to anyone pursuing their dreams,
Right.
no matter what field they're in.
Totally.
Because true toughness is about having the resilience to overcome failure.
Okay, we've covered the top 10, and I'm already feeling like my definition of toughness has expanded.
Yeah, for sure.
But before we get to the rest of the list, let's pause for a second and address the listener.
You got it.
So the list actually has some blank spots for newcomers.
Okay.
People the original list maker thinks deserve to be considered
Mm-hmm.
among the toughest.
Right.
So we're curious, dear listener, who would you add to this list?
What names come to mind as we continue this conversation?
And before you get too lost in your own brainstorming,
Mm-hmm.
we should mention that the list does fill in 2 of the newcomer slots,
Oh, okay.
with some pretty intriguing choices.
Intriguing indeed.
First up, we have Evil Knievel,
Oh, wow.
legendary motorcycle daredevil,
Right.
with a record for broken bones.
Yeah.
That would make even the most fearless shudder.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, the guy jumped the Caesar's Palace fountain on a motorcycle.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk about pushing the limits of human endurance.
Right.
But it makes you wonder, what's the psychology of that kind of risk-taking?
Yeah, what is it sheer fearlessness? Is it a death wish or something else?
Right.
That's a question I think that has fascinated psychologists
Yeah,
and cultural critics
totally.
for a very long time.
Mm.
Some see it as a form of self-destructive behavior,
Right.
while others view it as this quest for transcendence,
Yeah.
a way of pushing the boundaries of what humans are capable of.
It definitely challenges our understanding of toughness.
Right.
Is it about conquering fear or quitting it, or a balance between the two?
Maybe it's about redefining fear itself.
Okay.
Not something to be avoided,
Right.
but a force to be harnessed.
Yeah.
A source of energy that can propel you to do extraordinary things.
Okay. Mind blown.
Yeah.
But hold on to your hats, because the next newcomer takes us in a completely different direction.
Okay.
Teddy Roosevelt,
Oh, wow.
a Rough Rider himself,
Right.
shot before a speech, and he still delivers it.
Talk about mental fortitude.
Right.
Wow.
It makes you realize that toughness isn't always about physical strength.
Teddy Roosevelt embodies a different kind of toughness.
Yeah.
One rooted in resilience,
Right.
determination,
Mm-hmm.
an unwavering sense of duty.
Right.
He exemplifies the power of the human spirit to overcome incredible obstacles.
And that mental toughness, that ability to push through pain,
Yeah,
I think that's just as important as any physical feat.
absolutely. It's about having the willpower to persevere,
Yeah.
even when your body's screaming for you to stop.
Right.
It's about that voice in your head
Mm-hmm.
that says, I can do this even when faced with seemingly impossible challenges.
All right, so we've got the daredevil,
Mhm.
who laughs in the face of danger,
Right.
the politician who refuses to be silenced by a bullet. This list is already a wild ride.
Yeah.
But hold on tight, because we're about to enter the contender section.
Okay.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Lead the way, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
We're starting off with some familiar faces,
Mm-hmm.
actors known for their tough guy roles.
Right.
Bruce Willis,
Okay.
Robert De Niro, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right.
The list goes on,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
makes you wonder
Yeah.
how much of that on-screen persona bleeds into their real lives.
That's the eternal question, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do they inhabit those roles so convincingly
right.
because they have those qualities themselves?
Yeah,
Or is it pure acting?
right.
Or is it a bit of both?
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the mystery that I think keeps us captivated.
Right. Like, is Bruce Willis actually as quick-witted and unflappable as John McClane?
Yeah.
Does Robert De Niro have that same quiet intensity off-screen?
Exactly.
It's hard to separate the actor from the character.
It really speaks to the power of performance.
Yeah.
How they can tap into something that's
Mhm.
so primal and universal
Right.
that resonates with audiences.
Yeah.
And perhaps, in the process of embodying those characters, they
Yeah.
discover something within themselves
Right.
they didn't even know they had.
And then you have figures like Andre the Giant, who defied categorization.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his sheer size and strength were legendary.
Yeah.
You can't talk about toughness without acknowledging that physicality.
Andre the Giant was like a force of nature.
Yeah.
He was a walking testament to just how incredible genetics can be.
Right.
How incredible and varied the human form can be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's also important to remember
Right.
that his life was not without its challenges.
Right.
He faced health issues and prejudice due to his size,
Yeah.
which requires a different kind of toughness to navigate.
It's a reminder that even those who seem larger than life
Yeah.
face their own battles.
Mm-hmm.
And that resilience, that ability to adapt
Yeah.
and overcome obstacles despite your circumstances,
Yeah.
that's another crucial aspect of toughness.
And it makes me wonder, with all these different interpretations of toughness,
Mm-hmm.
how do we even begin to make sense of it all?
Yeah,
Is there a unifying thread?
that's a great question, and one that I'm hoping we can unhack
Okay.
as we continue this deep dive,
Right?
because it seems like toughness isn't one size fits all.
No, it's definitely not.
It's a spectrum with all sorts of variations and nuances.
Precisely. And perhaps the beauty of this list lies not in finding a singular definition,
Mm-hmm.
but in appreciating that vast array of ways
Right.
in which toughness can manifest.
All right, so we tackled the top 10,
Yeah.
pondered the newcomers,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're diving headfirst into the contenders.
Let's go.
It's time to see how these diverse figures add to our understanding of this complex and fascinating concept.
Let's explore further.
So next up we have Kelly Hu, who brings her martial arts background to her roles.
Right.
There's that physicality again, but combined with a grace and precision.
Kelly Hu's presence on screen is a reminder
Yeah.
that toughness can be elegant and fluid,
Right.
not just brute force.
Totally.
It's about mastering your body
Yeah.
and channeling your energy
Mm-hmm.
with control and intention.
It's like she embodies this disciplined power that's both mesmerizing and intimidating.
Yeah.
And speaking of intimidating, how can we talk about toughness without mentioning Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, come on.
The man is a force of nature.
Right.
His voice, his presence, his iconic characters,
Mhm.
he just exudes a kind of cool confidence.
Samuel L. Jackson's persona
Right.
is a masterclass in self-assuredness.
Yeah.
He owns every role he plays,
Right.
commands attention
Mm-hmm.
with his blend of charisma,
Yeah.
wit, and a subtle hint of danger.
Right.
It's a form of toughness
Mm-hmm.
that's built on confidence and this unwavering belief in himself.
And it's not just about acting tough.
Right.
It's about being comfortable in your own skin,
Yeah.
owning your space in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of authenticity can be incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. It's about being true to yourself,
Yeah.
even when the world's trying to mold you into something you're not.
Right.
That's a form of toughness.
Mhm.
That requires inner strength
Mm-hmm.
and a willingness to stand out.
And then you have figures like Mr. T who blur the lines between actor and persona.
Interesting.
That mohawk, the gold chains, the catchphrase,
Right.
I pity the fool.
Yeah.
It's all part of a carefully crafted image
Right.
that became synonymous with a very specific brand of toughness.
Mr. T's persona really plays with that idea of exaggerated masculinity.
Yeah.
You know, embracing those stereotypes
Mm-hmm.
and turning them into a source of power.
Right.
It's playful,
Yeah.
yet potent.
Right.
You know, a form of self-expression that really challenges how we think of toughness.
It's like he took the image of the tough guy
Yeah.
and amplified it to the point of absurdity.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, he created something uniquely his own.
Right.
And that ability to own your image,
Yeah.
to control your narrative,
Right.
that's a powerful form of self-determination.
It's a reminder that toughness isn't always about conforming to expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's about defying them,
Okay.
creating your own rules,
Yeah.
embracing your individuality.
All right, we've got the martial arts masters,
Mhm.
the cowboys,
Right.
the actors who embody toughness on and off the screen.
Yeah.
And now let's add another layer to this tapestry with Jet Li,
Oh, yeah.
another martial arts legend who brings a different flavor.
Jet Li's style is all about precision,
Mm-hmm.
speed,
Yeah,
and elegance.
Totally.
He moves with this fluidity.
right.
Grace is almost hypnotic,
Yeah.
but his strikes are like lightning fast,
Mm-hmm.
incredibly powerful.
It's like he's turned martial arts into poetry in motion.
Totally.
And that level of mastery,
Yeah.
that dedication to honing your craft,
Mm.
that's a form of toughness that transcends the physical.
It speaks to the power of discipline.
Yeah.
Focus on unwavering commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's about pushing yourself
Yeah.
beyond your perceived limits,
Right.
striving for excellence.
And those qualities aren't limited to just martial arts.
Yes.
They're applicable to any field, any pursuit where you're pushing yourself to be the best.
Right.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, next up we have Steven Seagal,
Okay.
a figure who's been both praised and criticized for his unique brand of action hero.
Right. Steven Seagal's persona is all about quiet intensity
Mm-hmm.
and effortless mastery.
Yeah,
He portrays characters who are skilled fighters,
right.
but also possess a certain, Zen-like calm,
Yeah.
philosophical depth.
It's that blend of action and contemplation
Yeah.
that makes him so interesting. He's not just about brute force.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thoughtfulness,
Mm-hmm.
a strategic mind at work,
Right.
and that mental agility,
Mm-hmm.
that ability to think several steps ahead.
Yeah.
That's a form of toughness that often gets overlooked.
It's about being resourceful,
Yeah.
adaptable, able to outmaneuver your opponents physically and mentally.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
I'm already feeling overwhelmed by all the different ways toughness can manifest.
It's a lot to process.
But we're not done yet. We still got Al Pacino,
Oh, wow.
Gina Carano,
Right.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
Yeah.
Gal Gadot, and a whole host of others to explore.
It's a testament to just how powerful this concept is,
Yeah.
how it continues to fascinate and inspire.
Right.
And I'm excited to see what other insights we can glean from this diverse and expanding list.
Me too. So let's take a quick breath
Okay?
and then dive back in.
Right.
We've got a lot more ground to cover, and
Mhm.
I have a feeling this conversation is only going to get more interesting
It's going to be good.
from here on out.
Yeah, I'm excited. As we delve deeper into this list, it's becoming clear that toughness isn't just about physical strength
Yeah.
or the ability to just endure hardship.
I was just thinking that.
It's almost like the list is expanding our definition of what it means to be tough.
Yeah, it's really making me realize that we associate toughness with very specific images.
Right.
Like the stoic hero, the lone wolf, the warrior.
Yeah.
But this list is showing us that toughness can be found
Right.
in unexpected places.
Like in those who might not fit the traditional mold.
Yeah, exactly.
Take Gal Gadot, for instance,
Oh, yeah.
former Miss Israel,
Mm-hmm.
who went on to become a global action star.
Right.
There's a juxtaposition there
Yeah.
that I think challenges how we think about what a tough person looks like.
It's like she embodies this blend of beauty, grace, and strength
Right.
that defies categorization.
She's not afraid to embrace her femininity and her physical power.
And that's a powerful message.
Yeah.
Especially in a world that tries to put women in boxes.
Right. It's like she's saying you can be both
Yeah.
strong and beautiful.
Right.
Fierce and compassionate.
It's like she's redefining toughness for a new generation.
Absolutely.
It's not about conforming to outdated stereotypes.
Right.
It's about embracing your whole self.
And speaking of redefining toughness,
Yeah.
we have Danny Trejo,
Oh, yeah.
whose life story is a testament to resilience.
Mm-hmm.
From prison to Hollywood, he's faced incredible challenges
Right.
and come out on the other side with a sense of humor
Yeah.
and a willingness to help others.
His story is so inspiring.
It is.
It's a reminder that toughness isn't about avoiding hardship,
Right.
but how you navigate it, how you
Mhm.
use those experiences to grow and become a better person.
And there's a vulnerability there
Yeah.
in his willingness to share his past,
Right.
acknowledge his struggles.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of strength to be that open and honest.
Right. Especially when you're in the public eye.
Exactly.
It's like he's saying, look, I've been through some tough times,
Yeah.
but I'm still here and I'm using my experiences to help others.
Right. And that's a powerful form of toughness.
Yeah.
That goes beyond just the physical,
Mm-hmm.
the external.
Right.
It's about inner strength,
Yeah.
compassion,
Right.
and a commitment to using your platform for good.
Totally. And those are qualities that are just as important
Yeah.
as any physical prowess
Exactly.
or a martial arts skill.
It's really making me realize
Yeah.
that true toughness
Mm-hmm.
is about the choices we make,
Right.
how we respond to adversity,
Yeah.
and how we use those experiences to shape who we become.
And those choices are often made
Right.
in the face of fear, doubt,
Mhm.
uncertainty.
Yep.
It's about having the courage to keep going.
Yeah.
Even when you don't know what lies ahead.
Which brings us to Ronda Rousey,
Oh, yeah, another
who
figure.
crossed boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and defied expectations.
Right. This is a mixed martial arts champion.
Right.
A wrestler, an actress.
Yeah, she's constantly pushing herself.
Proving that toughness can take you to the highest levels in any field.
Ronda Rousey's success
Yeah.
is really a testament to hard work,
Mm-hmm.
dedication,
Right.
and a relentless pursuit of excellence.
Totally.
She's not afraid to step outside her comfort zone
Yeah.
and challenge herself physically and mentally.
And she's not afraid to lose either. She's
Right.
been knocked down
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
But she always gets back up stronger and more determined.
That's a key ingredient in toughness.
Yeah.
The ability to bounce back from those setbacks,
Right.
to learn from your mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep striving towards your goals, even when it gets tough.
It's about having that inner fire
Yeah.
that keeps you going, that refusal to give up on yourself or your dreams.
And that brings us back to our initial question.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be tough? We've explored so many facets of this concept,
Mm-hmm.
from physical strength and mental resilience
Right.
to emotional intelligence
Yeah.
and moral courage.
It's like toughness is this multifaceted gem,
It is.
with each individual reflecting a different facet.
Right. And perhaps the beauty lies not in finding one singular definition,
Mm-hmm.
but in appreciating all of the ways in which toughness can
I
manifest.
love that.
It's like we're all capable of toughness
Yeah.
in our own unique ways.
Right.
It's not about fitting into a mold,
Mm.
but about finding your own strength,
Mhm.
your own resilience, your
Yeah.
own way of navigating
Right.
the challenges of life.
And those challenges are going to arise.
Well, they will.
Life is full of ups and downs,
Right.
triumphs and setbacks.
It's inevitable.
But it's how we face those challenges, how we
Yeah.
draw upon our inner strength
Exactly.
and compassion
Mm-hmm.
that defines our toughness. Okay. I'm feeling incredibly inspired right now.
Me too.
It's like this whole deep dive has been a masterclass in resilience
Yeah, absolutely.
and the power of the human spirit,
And it's a reminder that toughness is not a destination.
right?
It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's this constant process of growth and evolution.
So, dear listener, as we wrap up this exploration of the toughest celebrities of all time,
Right.
we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me with it.
Is toughness something you admire,
Mm-hmm.
or is it becoming outdated in
Cool.
today's world?
Wow, that's a good one.
Right?
Really makes you think.
Because on the one hand,
Yeah.
we have this ingrained admiration for toughness,
Right.
this idea that it's a virtue to
Mhm.
be strong and resilient.
We celebrate those who overcome adversity, who persevere.
But on the other hand, there's this growing awareness
Yeah.
that vulnerability and empathy are also important qualities.
Especially in a world that feels so divided,
Right.
so disconnected.
So is it possible to be both tough and vulnerable?
Yeah. Can we embrace his
Yeah.
strength and compassion,
Right.
resilience and empathy,
Mm-hmm.
without compromising our values?
It's like we need to find a balance,
Yeah.
a way to be strong and assertive, right? While also being open and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe true toughness lies in the ability to embrace both,
Perhaps the most resilient among us are those who can adapt
right?
to changing circumstances
Hmm.
and draw upon both their strength and their vulnerability.
It's like toughness has
Yeah, but-
evolved. It's not just about being the strongest or the most stoic.
Right.
It's about being adaptable,
Yeah.
resourceful,
Mhm.
and emotionally intelligent.
And perhaps it's also about recognizing that toughness is not fixed.
Mm-hmm.
It's fluid.
Right.
It can change and evolve,
I love that.
just as we do.
It's like we're all constantly in the process of becoming tougher,
Yeah.
discovering new depths of strength and resilience within ourselves.
And that journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
that willingness to embrace our
Mm.
strengths
Yeah.
and our vulnerabilities,
Right.
that's what makes us truly human.
Okay. I think we've officially cracked the code of toughness.
I think so too.
It's not about fitting into that predefined box,
Right.
but about finding our own unique path to strength,
Yeah.
resilience, and wholeness.
And that path,
Right.
like any journey we're taking,
Mm-hmm.
will be filled with challenges and triumphs,
Yeah.
setbacks, breakthroughs.
Right.
But it's the journey itself, the process of becoming,
Mm-hmm.
that truly matters.
And I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
It is.
It's given me a whole new perspective on toughness.
Yeah.
And I hope it's done the same for you, dear listener.
It has for me, without a doubt.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I'm grateful to have delved into this topic with you. You know, it's amazing how just a simple list like this
Yeah.
can spark such a thought-provoking conversation about toughness.
I know it really speaks to the power of pop culture as like a mirror,
Yeah,
reflecting our values.
totally. And I think this deep dive has revealed that toughness isn't some abstract concept.
Right.
It's something we're all grappling with in our own lives.
Whether we realize it or not.
Yeah, and what's cool
Yeah.
is that toughness can manifest in so many ways.
Absolutely.
It's not just about physical strength
Right.
or stoicism.
Yeah.
It can be about creativity, compassion,
right.
even a sense of humor.
You know, that ability to find lightness
Yeah.
in the face of adversity, to
Right.
maintain hope
Mm-hmm.
when things are tough.
Yeah.
That's a powerful form of resilience.
It's like finding that flicker of light in the darkness.
Totally.
That keeps you going.
Yeah.
Even when you just want to give up.
And sometimes that spark comes from the most unexpected places.
Oh, yeah.
A kind word from a stranger,
Mm-hmm.
a moment of beauty in nature,
Yeah.
you know, a memory that brings a smile to your face.
Those little moments of grace can be so powerful.
They are.
They remind us that even in hardship,
Mm-hmm.
there's still good.
There's still beauty to be found.
Okay, I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy inside now.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to bring this deep dive to a close.
I agree. But before we do,
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
Toughness is not a destination. It's a journey.
Right.
It's a constant process of growth,
Yeah.
evolution, self-discovery.
And it's a journey we're all on together.
Yeah.
Even if our paths look different.
So be kind to yourself along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate those victories.
Right.
Learn from the setbacks.
Yeah.
And never be afraid to ask for help
Right.
when you need it.
Because true toughness isn't about going it alone.
Yeah.
It's about building a supportive community around you.
Mm-hmm.
People who will lift you up when you fall.
Absolutely.
And celebrate your triumphs.
And remember, toughness is not about perfection.
Right.
It's about embracing those imperfections,
Mm-hmm.
your vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
and using them as fuel for growth.
Beautifully said.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to ponder today.
I hope so. And if this conversation has sparked any thoughts for you, dear listener,
Mhm.
we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Find us on social media. Shoot us an email.
Send a carrier pigeon.
Whatever works.
Whatever you got to do.
We're always up for a good conversation.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to exploring these complexities of the human experience.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
And with that, we'll bid you farewell.
Yes.
Until next time,
Mm,
stay curious, stay resilient,
right.
and keep those deep dive suggestions coming.
And remember, you are tougher than you think. A third 13 suggestion,